Hello friends and patrons, welcome to part 5 of my Everyone Can Draw series. This is brought to you by the silly passion project I'm developing over at Patreon. It's a children's book about monsters trying to eat children. So if you're interested in supporting that, come and join me at patreon.com/OhNoHenry. That's Ono Henry with an I. The central conceit of this series is everybody tells you that to get better, you should be drawing every day, but they don't often tell you what to draw. So I'm going to do just that. Today, we're drawing oranges. I'm going to assume that you've seen part 1 through to 4. If you haven't, I'm going to include the links in the doobly-doo below. For me, this exercise is one of the most important and actually goes to the core of what it means to be creating an artwork. It's the basics of compositional thinking. What it consists of are lots of small compositional sketches. You can see each of those are not much bigger than a stamp size. And they contain nothing more than 2 or 3 tones and some basic shapes. This exercise seeks to undo the assumption that there is a default gaze, a default line of sight, and a default perspective. To me, this is one of the greatest differences between beginner artists, mediocre artists, and truly great artists, is this fundamental understanding that they are curating the visual experience for the viewer. They're not merely presenting an image, they're actually directing the viewer through their image and their object, very much like a movie director directs you through the movie. In fact, in my experience, it is better to have a badly drawn but well composed image than it is to have a well drawn but badly composed image. So what are you doing? Well, what you are doing is you're taking your still life or your object that you're drawing from life, and you're manipulating the way that you're trying to present it. Is the object close, far? Is it at the bottom, top? Is the portrait landscape format? Is it square? Are the tones dark in the background or dark in the foreground? How are you leading the viewer through what you're actually seeing? And what you saw earlier on was me just playing around. And in fact, so all you have to do, once you have mastered the basics that we covered in lessons 1 through to 4, is to then just churn out these little diagrams. These are just 3 oranges on a relatively neutral dark background. How many ways can I present that same still life to you in a way that is fresh? And by pushing yourself to produce at least 10 or 20 or 30 for each particular drawing that you're doing, you're going to be forcing yourself to truly consider, to bring to the fore what story you are telling and how you are presenting your objects. As with the other exercises in the series, these are not meant to be intensive. You should be able to churn them out in 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. It is a way of isolating and focusing on specific elements of art making. This gets to the core of what it means to be creative. It is developing the muscle to see what nobody else can see, to show what nobody else even thought of showing. Nobody wants to see your first idea or your second idea, because I can promise you everybody has the same ideas. What makes you truly novel is coming up with the 50th, 40th, 100th different idea and developing the muscle to get you there. Over time, you'll need fewer and fewer of these compositional sketches. But if you want a good exercise to get to develop that muscle fast and effectively, this is definitely it. What I'm doing here is a different version that will achieve these same results. So here you start with one static image and you move your viewfinder or your format around until you come up with a composition that you are happy with. In traditional art, you can achieve this by cutting out a little viewfinder, a little format in a piece of paper, and moving the format over your subject until you come up with something that makes you happy. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a basic compositional sketch, which basically involves 2 or 3 tones, maximum 4 tones, your dark and light families, and your basic shapes and objects. And as you can see, we started with a normal triangle. your basic shapes, which are your circles, semicircles, and triangles. And then from there, I'm developing a composition that I think could be quite fun. So from this basic of 3 oranges on a board, I now end up with an image that I think could be quite fun to look at and present. And so from a simple still life, you can develop tens and hundreds of different ideas. Each one of them can be grown into full-fledged artworks. So I hope that made sense. I hope that's something that you will take to heart and you will continue to sketch every day in simple and effective way. Thank you for your support. You know what to do if you want to support a bit more, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.